These lessons are recorded using 4K UHD video assets with aspect ratio 21:9 and 3840 by 1600 resolution, to mimic studio-wide films, and utilize ultra-wide monitors for editing, which is most efficient, or use 2 monitors minimum. You can use your own media with any resolution when following these lessons. We'll do our best to zoom when needed, best if viewed on a 4K monitor while learning these techniques.
Now here on the edit page where we have just a single timeline, we don't have the miniature timeline motion bar that we have here on the cut page. You'll find yourself doing many zooming in and outs. So how to be efficient at this with keyboard keys, mouse, speed editors and more. Let's explore the full edit page. Press Ctrl plus and minus and that will zoom you in and out. Holding Ctrl with mouse wheels moves the entire timeline. If we expand the timeline we can move through it with that like this. If I'm in a zoom in state and now I want to reframe the entire timeline, I can press Shift plus Z and now Shift plus Z will automatically frame the entire timeline, however long or short it is, within this view. Then if I press Shift plus Z again it goes to the previous zoomed state, which in this case was really zoomed in. New in Davinci Resolve 17 are 3 buttons here. Full extent zoom, detail zoom, custom zoom. Also you have the slider for any zoom level you choose. You can even zoom thousands of frame into an inch or centimeter. Custom zoom works with the slider. I've got a couple different ways of adjusting track heights. Before release 17, you could use in place of these 3 icons, there were sliders and other options. But I think it is simpler here and more powerful using shift and mouse wheel when you hover over the video's tracks. Notice how the tracks are uniformly changing size even if one is smaller than the other. Now hover over the audio tracks. You can also hold and drag between the track lines to adjust one track at a time. What I want to do now is to take the split view here between the video and audio tracks. If you have a lot of audio tracks and you're working on them, you can move up to see more audio tracks, or a lot of video tracks you can move them down to better see your video tracks. So if I click on this middle shot and drag it to the right, it opens a gap. Notice it is also moving the video, not the audio. Click on the link here or hold Ctrl and click on the audio to select both. Now you can move them together. This is impossible to do on the cut page. You can move the audio and video separately, but you cannot create gaps. That is why editing page is used for more polished editing. We can throw things out of sync. Click the linking icon again. Click on outside the tracks. Then click one video track for example. Just grab this video track and throw it out of sync, but it's telling me it's out of sync with this red measure for frames. It's saying, hey, these 2 tracks, these video and audio tracks have the same time code, but they're not lined up. You are out of sync by how many frames? So I can adjust this back by pressing plus or minus key. Make sure you are in the timeline viewer here and this is lit orange. Now type 105 or type 105 without the colon. Hit enter, and now it just moved that clip the number of frames that I told it to move. The other thing I can do here is mark an empty spot. I have audio track here to show you what happened when you do a delete or a ripple delete. First mark a gap. Use the X button, the gap is marked here with this gray color bar. To undo that, use Alt plus X. Now use the backspace and audio is gone, but the gap is still there. Because here on the edit page backspace is just basically a lift. What we want to do is a ripple delete, which is pressing the delete button and it ripples the timeline closed. Last thing we're going to take a look at in our tour, our closer look at the edit page, is the mixer. So we can pull up the mixer and it will have as many tracks. It is showing 2 tracks only and a bus mixing track. Where is the third track? Click on this bar for resizing the mixer and drag left to expose all the tracks. I can also switch this into meters, if all I want is metering. So I can go ahead and play a very compressed view for me to look at my meters. Or I can look at my mixes in order to do basically track level mixing, and then I can adjust these audio levels here and do clip level mixing. I've also got some basic EQ controls in here, and what I can actually do is open up the inspector, and click on a track. And then here's my clip equalizer, and then I can start making changes onto this clip. But it's kind of annoying to have to do it to clip, after clip, after clip. In more advanced lessons we will go over advanced audio mixing with Fairlight and global audio settings.